What does it take to ask cleanly? I am embarrassed to tell you that it took me several decades to learn to ask my husband clearly and cleanly to make our bed. This is what a clean ask eventually sounded like. Hey, Dave, it seems like a silly thing, but it gives me this little jolt of joy when I walk into the bedroom and I see a made bed. I know that that's not as important to you, but what I'm wondering is, what could we do, blankets and sheets wise, to make it so easy for you to make the bed that you could do it every day? That's a clean ask. I owned my desire and I asked for what I wanted, and I stayed out of the toxicity of the side door request. That seems simple enough, right? But let me give you a list of all the ways I did it wrong for 2 decades. Number 1, I was indirect. I thought if I made the bed pretty enough, I could seduce Dave into wanting to make the bed all on his own. Or I modeled making the bed while he was in the room. See how I'm doing this? The problem is, I never owned my desire and gave Dave the respect that he could disagree about the value of a made bed. The second way is that I assumed it was as important to Dave to have a made bed as it was to me. When he didn't value the made bed as much as I did, I leaped to making it about our marriage. He doesn't value our marriage as much as I do. When really it was just, he doesn't value a made bed as much as I do. The third way I didn't ask cleanly was I scolded. Dave, you never helped me make this bed. I am so embarrassed that I talked to my husband in this disrespectful way. But we've all done it, right? It's not pretty. The fourth way is that I gave up. At first, giving up looked like I give up. But later, giving up turned into sort of a letting go. And letting go of the made bed allowed me to see all the other ways he was tending to our marriage, which was what I was asking for in the beginning about the bed, but I didn't make it clear. Once I asked cleanly, he has never missed a day to make our bed. And that's what getting a clear ask can do for your marriage as well. Try this. Don't give up on your sweetheart. When you give up on your sweetheart, you disempower them. Instead of giving up, get curious. Give the problem back to your sweetheart. Remember that chronic problem of the trash can? When the trash can isn't getting emptied, get curious. Ask them to look at the trash can and gently say, I asked you if you could make the trash can your job, but the last 3 times the trash can has been full, I've had to remind you. Can you tell me what's up? Here's the key. Then come to a full stop. Let your sweetheart own the problem of the trash can. They are a grown-up. They will figure out how to empty a full trash can. But the clean ask is pointing out the behavior and then giving the full stop to say, I trust that you'll figure this out on your own. That's what a clean ask does. It empowers your sweetheart rather than giving up and disempowering them. A clean ask is vulnerable and specific, and it gives the respect to your sweetheart that they may disagree about what you value. Give them that respect, even though it's scary. Be direct rather than indirect, and that helps you avoid that side door. In this series, you've learned to avoid these 4 behaviors: indirect communication, assuming, scolding, and giving up. Instead, you've learned to embrace these 4 behaviors: direct communication, clarify, state the facts and let your partner save face, and get curious, then give the problem back to your sweetheart. How do you give up on your sweetheart? How do you step in early and solve the problem you've asked for help with? And how can you let that go? This completes the unit Asking Clearly in the 6 steps improving your marriage communication. Stay tuned because next time we'll be talking about beware conditions and how conditions can suck the life out of your marriage. I'll see you then. This video is part of a 6-step series, Improving Your Marriage Communication. Make sure you have access to the full course in my virtual classroom. The link's right below.